Hello guys, hope you are keeping well, and today we are going to talk about what is the right to protest in India and how it is taken, and what Supreme Court says, what our constitution says, and how the farmers are facing issues in this periphery of right to protest. So right to protest is a very fundamental or core principle for any democratic country or state to survive and thrive. So, yeah, under the Indian Constitution, it is allowed, and it is allowed as making public as a watchdog to the government. So people act as watchdogs and constantly monitor governments act, which provides feedback to the governments about their policies and actions, after which concerned government through consultation or meetings and discussion recognize and rectify their mistakes, like they have taken back the black farming laws last year after the farmers protest. So this is how they correct their decisions. Then, however, resorting to violence during the protest is a violation of the key fundamental duty of citizens. So that is not allowed. Being violent in a peaceful protest is not allowed. To any of the citizen cannot be violent in the name of protest. So that is in included under Article 51A of the Indian Constitution. It says it makes it a fundamental duty of the citizen to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. So they cannot be violent, they cannot destroy the public property. And then it comes to, if we talk about right to protest and constitutional provisions, then we can see that Article 19(1)(a) and 1(b) talks about it very clearly. Right to protest peacefully is enshrined under Indian Constitution Article 19(1)(a). It guarantees the freedom of speech and expression, and 19(1)(b) assures citizens the right to assemble peacefully and without arms. That is what our farmers were doing, but they were not allowed to. Then there is one exception that says under that is stated under Article 19(2), says imposes reasonable restrictions on the right to assemble peacefully and without arms. These reasonable restrictions are imposed in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency and morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation, or incitement to an offense, which was not the case here for the farmers' protest. So nobody can say no to them to protest, because they were not a threat to our sovereignty and integrity of the state of India, nor they were impacting any friendly relation with foreign state. No, they were intended to uh, threat the public order and decency or morality, no, nor they were doing any contempt of court, nor they were defaming anyone, so nor they were inciting any offense. So basically they were just demanding a place to sit and show their disagreement with the government policies about minimum support price or farming laws or anything, whatever is going on in their lives, which is actually disrupting their own lives. So they wanted to have a say, and they have all the rights to do that, but still it was not given to them. Also, Supreme Court in 2012 has restated and confirmed it in Ramlila Maidan incident versus Home Secretary, Union of India, and others case, that citizens have the fundamental right to assembly and peaceful protest, which cannot be taken away by an arbitrary executive or legislative action. So basically, this is their fundamental right, and no government can say them no unless they are violent or intended to do something wrong against law. Then the historical context, if we want to see about the public protest in India, then in the background of Indian constitution is formed by its anti-colonial struggle, which within which the seeds of political public sphere and democratic constitution were shown. So the Indian public fought hard and long to publicly express their views on colonial policies and laws, to dissent from them, to shape minds and form public opinions against them, to speak to and against the government, to challenge it. Then people not only signed writ petitions but stated dharnas, held large public meetings, peaceful protests and demonstrations, and even for instance, the Gandhi's Satyagraha launched civil disobedience movements. Protests have also offered points of inclusion and participation to the voices that are not part of the mainstream, as seen in the protests for creation of Andhra or Chipko movement. So this is how we can see that protests are important and integral part of any democracy, and specifically Indian democracy, and they have brought big changes. Even the present government in India has come after Anna's Andolan in 2012, and we could see a huge change. But then right now we are finding that that change was not that great as we assumed it to be. So we need to think over and decide without any influence of hatred being spread in our society these days by the social media universities through WhatsApp or Twitter or anywhere. So we need to be very careful with our open eyes and ears to think about all these things, whether government is right, whether people are right or wrong. And if we connect the dots, we can have the full picture of the scenario, and we are thankfully rational human beings who can actually decide what is wrong and right if we connect the dots properly. So let's go for that rather than believing in some out loud cry of the government that okay, farmers are not for this or that. It is different story to decide what they want, whether the demands are genuine or not. First, even if the demands are genuine or not, we need to give them the right to protest, right to have their say. We cannot block their way outside Delhi and be deaf and dumb towards their demands. So we need to support these farmers, and so that they don't disturb us, and also we don't disturb them and the governments don't disturb them. We need to be with them, because tomorrow it might be our turn that our voices are not heard. So it is like coming one by one. We need to be very careful and be watchdog of our own fundamental rights, and be together with any citizen if their human rights are being violated. I hope we are good to go ahead and close this video now. It has taken longer time. See you guys in the next video.